Hey guys, this is Sam, and if you've been following me on Twitter for the past few days, then you know that I've been dying to get my hands on the 13-inch MacBook Pro with Touch Bar, which is exactly what we have right here. This is the spec'd out 13-inch model, besides the fact that I did not go with 16 gigabytes of RAM because, I mean, hey, 8 gigabytes has been good enough for me in the past, and I figured it would be good enough this time around as well. I want to talk about the top 5 upgrades that this year's model brings over last year's, or really subsequent or previous MacBook Pro products in general. So up first is the space gray color. I cannot tell you how good this looks in person, and I really hope that the camera did it justice. Tried my best to color correct and make it look as quote-unquote pretty as possible, because it looks really sharp. I never got why Apple only did silver for MacBooks. The perfect MacBook color for me, though, would be that same black color as the iPhone 7. If they can bring that to the next MacBook Pro, then I am sold 100%. Although I will tell you, this space gray looks really good. It's the darker instead of the lighter space gray, and seeing it in person is just so sick. So if you have a chance, go take a look at one, because space gray is the future. Next up are the new speakers. So I anticipated like a minor upgrade, or like they might sound a little bit better. This year, they sound noticeably and marginally better than my at least 2013 MacBook Pro, because for the first time on the 13-inch MacBook that I at least can remember, they actually put them front and center. They're not hidden behind the keyboard or stuffed away in a port somewhere. They sound like legit speakers because they're right in front of you. You get that stereo audio and it sounds amazing. Now, they are laptop speakers, and Apple's never been the best at audio in my opinion, so they're a little bit on the higher end, and the bass is extremely lacking unless you play something like Broccoli, which amazingly gives any set of speakers bass. But overall, they're a little on the higher end, just a little bit tinny, but definitely an upgrade from last year. They sound a lot better, way more crisp and way more clear, and I love it. Now, squished in between these two stereo speakers is the new keyboard. I cannot tell you, once again, how much better this feels over the previous generation. I've been using a 2013 13-inch MacBook Pro since I think the day or two after it came out back in late 2013. And that chiclet keyboard was great, but this one has way less key travel, so it's much flatter. If you're not a fan of that, I'm not sure how you'll feel about this, but coming from the other keyboard to this one feels really nice. You don't have to push down as far. It feels like my fingers are somewhat less strained, and I feel like I can just type a lot faster because I'm not having to push down as much on every individual key. It's not as chiclet as the MacBook, where there's like no key movement. It's just a little bit better than that, but overall, I see it as an upgrade, and I really like the way it feels when I'm typing. It is going to be awesome when I'm in lectures taking notes. Now, moving on, just above the keyboard is one of the biggest changes, arguably the biggest change for this year's MacBook, and that's the addition of the Touch Bar. To get this little guy on your laptop, you are going to be paying $200 or $300 depending on which model you get above, I think, the $1499 non-Touch Bar MacBook Pro. And my thoughts so far are this. It's really fun to use. It's annoying to not be able to have instant access to turning the volume up or down, or instant access to the brightness, and I almost wish it showed the F1 through, I guess, 11 or 12 keys all the time by default, and then when you went in an app, it would switch it to like the contextually aware version. But it's really just fun to use so far. I've enjoyed my time messing around with it. It's almost like I've got this little iPhone on the top of my keyboard, and in that aspect, it's really cool. I have high hopes for where Apple takes this in the future, and I haven't spent enough time with it to really give you guys a fair opinion just yet. So for right now, like I said twice before, it's just fun. Now, our fifth upgrade is going to be right here at the bottom, and that is literally the biggest change thus far. It's the addition of this massive new trackpad, and I have to say, so far, I kind of love it. To put it this way, it's as big as an iPhone 7. It gives you so much more room to work, and looking back on my previous MacBook Pro, I don't know why it was this small in the first place, because having that much more space to work and drag your fingers around is really nice, and so far it seems to fit into my workflow really well. I have to say, my initial thoughts on this MacBook Pro so far are glowing, because coming from a 2013 MacBook Pro to this is a massive upgrade, but even if you have a 2015 version, I think these 5 upgrades make this year's edition worth just taking a look at. I don't want to give you any final thoughts just yet because I've literally been using it for 3 or 4 hours, but I will say this, it seems like a great laptop so far. I already love it so much more than the previous version, and so far, I'm feeling very positive about it. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to drop a like down below, and of course, subscribe for more MacBook Pro coverage in the future, and I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching, have a good one, and I'll talk to you later.